we were gonna get into the Louisiana bill,
Oh yeah, we got a few minutes for the Louisiana bill.
And this is basically a bill that the conservatives are trying to pass that would make the castration and chemical castration of minors illegal within,
which is a good thing,
which is a great thing. It's a fantastic thing. So she's talking about her daughter.
The problem was we took him to specialists and neurologists, and he had brain scans trying to figure out why he couldn't sleep. Then as he grew, he got to sleeping, but his food choices were odd. They were always like green vegetables, raw green vegetables, which if you know kids, most kids don't like to eat those things.
So chop off her boobs. Chop off her boobs.
Jay, what was your tweet about that? You had a good one.
It was, fellas, if your girl is eating vegetables, he's a dude and you're gay. That's what it is.
Fellas, is it gay to eat vegetables
in front of your girlfriend? It's so nuts. It's so nuts, like how far they run around to justify what they're doing to their own kids. And trying to push this on others as well. Eating green vegetables.
And then the precocious puberty. All of those things, once we figured out that he was transgender, when he came to us and told us that he was transgender, when we went back and realized that the pattern of everything that he had experienced as a child, including eating green vegetables because that boosts testosterone, were just methods of his body trying to become who he was meant to be. His brain does not match his physiology.
Yes, we know it's not that the brain doesn't match the physiology. The brain is sick. They're going through gender dysphoria. And the reason why they think that they're not the gender that they are is because they need mental help.
Jay, you know who I talked to earlier today?
Who?
Sarah Higdon. And now, for those of you who are not familiar with Sarah Higdon, she is a trans woman who is actually very based, because unlike most trans people, she is actually critical of basically all the transgenderism. So she did it when she transitioned when she was well into her mid to possibly late 20s. And so in that case, it wasn't like pushed on her. That was basically her decision. But
as an adult,
she mentioned to me that she was suspended off of Twitter for like a week because she said the gender dysmorphia or gender dysphoria is a mental illness, and she got suspended. Mind you, she's a trans woman who also agrees that gender dysphoria is a mental illness because she has it.
I know. And she's never going to call herself a real woman.
And that's why I respect her, because she's actually honest with herself.
Yep. And that's what you're going to see a lot of other trans women also who are against this huge push.
Blair White is another one.
Yeah, Blair White is another one, because there's a reason why they're called trans women and not women.
Right.
There's a reason why we put trans in front of it.
Yeah.
But here's another person that is...
Keep playing, because I know we're running out of time.
Here's another person that is pushing for this to stop this bill.
So hold on, there's someone who opposes it or supports it? Oh, they definitely support it.
I am a big gay baby. My pronouns are they, them. What are yours? I'm so happy that I'm speaking right after you. That was so beautiful. So, vote no on HB 463. Full stop. When I testified last week, there was a child listening outside in the hallway who was overjoyed to see that we were in the same t-shirt, which read, "Trans rights are human rights." That made me cry tears of joy. Somehow, amidst the pain of a committee of legislators telling kids that they don't matter, I felt joy and love. So, while some of you are looking at me, I'm not confident that you're truly listening to me. So I want to
Of course
use this
you're not.
time today instead to speak to the children in Louisiana and beyond who are listening. And I present here today in drag.
Excuse me. Now, our purpose here is to talk about this bill and not make a political comment. So keep it on the bill or relinquish your time, please. Thank you.
Can I hold a moment of silence for the rest of my minute, please?
Hold on. Rewind it. I missed that.
Please. Can I hold a moment of silence for the rest of my minute, please?
He's gonna break the fuck down and shit. And it's hilarious that I would be shedding a tear for that child, not for wearing that shirt, because I know that their parents pushed that shit on that child. That child didn't willingly or like magically think that's what he wanted to wear. That ideology was pushed on him. They have brainwashed these kids. And then this is a transitioner. Her @ on Twitter is Cho Klo. Yeah. She's a detransitioner who supports the bill, and it's really hilarious that detransitioners are even more of a minority than trans people are, and we are not allowed to hear their voices. They're not.
And I'm a detransitioner who transitioned medically as a 13-year-old girl. Today is special because it marks the 1-year anniversary of me speaking out on my experience of enduring the worst medical scandal in American history. Or it would have been if the Louisiana Health and Welfare Committee let me speak when I was here. You didn't allow me to testify last year. It begs the question, what is so scary about a detransitioner? Is it the fact that we lend proof to the idea that so-called gender-affirming care is a complete scam? Is it because it makes it harder to ignore institutionally backed medical abuse carried out on children? Can you no longer turn a blind eye to it in favor of the medical lobbyists that stand between you and your moral compass? I exist. I will speak despite your best efforts. Doctors medicalized me starting puberty blockers and testosterone at 13 years old. I didn't know what things like cervixes or ovulation were, or how the full menstrual cycle worked yet, but I was cleared by adults who had a full understanding of such things to make a decision that would affect my fertility, the onward development of my sexual organs, and the complex processes unique to me as a woman. I was given a double mastectomy, and my breasts, an important part of my sexuality and future motherhood, were removed in the name of political ideology at only 15 years old. And when I went to my surgeon to get...
At 15.
15.
And we're told that this is not happening to minors. We are told this is not happening to minors. And this is why they don't want detransitioners to speak.
Help for my complications, like fluid leaking out of my areolar grafts, I got dismissed in a Zoom call with advice that gave me a skin infection. Try to ignore that. You can't. When you attempt to ignore that, you're also ignoring the thousands of detransitioners I personally corresponded with. I am just the tip of the iceberg. You are so incredibly fortunate that there aren't dozens of us testifying in front of you today, but that will come soon if you keep ignoring this problem. You have a chance to act now. My parents were told by my doctors that there was no choice other than having a dead daughter or a living trans son. My parents' biggest mistake was trusting them.
And that's another thing that they say that doesn't happen, that they don't use the blackmail of your child's suicide against you in order for you to push them to go through these
thought up
surgeries.
Until recently that we could trust our doctors.
Thank you. We have a question, Representative Slagle.
I remember you coming last year. I think I spoke with you. You're very brave. I'm just wondering, because we're hearing this terminology of watchful approach. Was that ever an option that was given to you, or?
No. It was never suggested to wait. In fact, I was fast-tracked into this, and I was, as a patient, I was pretty much the one leading the course of my treatment, rather than the other way around.
Mm-hmm. And so your parents were told that about...
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't given any other option but to transition me. They were told that I knew exactly what I wanted at 13 years old, that children already know what gender they are from a young age. And so it was more likely that I would regret going through puberty. And were I not allowed to transition as I wanted to, it was very likely that I would commit suicide even though I wasn't suicidal until I was actually on these treatments.
Jesus.
I mean,
Holy shit.
And she's
then
18. She's only 18
why
now.
so many trans and then they wonder why so many trans people are killing themselves.
Right.
This is insane. I know we ran over an hour, but final thoughts on that.
That we need as independent media, because the media itself is not going to do it. We need to force and beat the drum to get these detransitioners a platform and allow them to speak to their experiences. Especially, she's only 18. She's living proof that they have fucking lied about this not happening to minors. And not only is she proof, it's also proof that they're even having this hearing. This hearing itself is proof that they want to do it to minors, and they want to do it to 8, 9, and 10-year-olds, and 15-year-olds. It's proof right here.
It's everything about it is just so fucked up. From the testimony to the people who are pushing for it, you're right. It's true brainwashing, and we got to put an end to this somehow. And I mean, look, we're just, Jay and I are just two idiots ranting online. There are a lot of people who are actually out here who are actually putting in a good fight. So make sure you support them as best as you can, because ultimately, look, if it's not happening to you or your family or someone in your community now, it's only a matter of time before it starts happening.
Top European countries like Sweden, like Denmark, and the UK are all coming out with the same response.
Mm-hmm.
That the systemic review of available medical literature on providing puberty blockers to children said that its use for treating gender dysphoria should be considered experimental. Here in the United States, we're saying that this is the only treatment for gender dysphoria. So your kid doesn't kill themselves. Habibi.